Awesome. It looks like we are live, and I got one big topic that I'm going to cover for you today in this, and that is it's about the drops. There was something that came up last week. Someone had mentioned that the drops are only effective for a certain amount of time. They had a very specific date, and it's something I'd never heard before, never seen clinically, and so I was genuinely curious where that thought process was coming from. And I thought it would be a good idea in this particular video for us to just go through, and I want to just explain to you a couple of principles about how your brain works and how it adapts to different things, and talk to you about a strategy that we do use with the drops to help combat some of the things that we were talking about last week. So here we go. Here's what we're going to talk about: your brain. We're going to talk about your hypothalamus. We're going to talk specifics about the drops. Now, you probably got a message last week about the drops being on a special for Memorial Day. I'll leave that open for you for a couple days, and I'll drop a link in the video later today. So if you're watching it later, that's fine. There will be a link there that you can actually still buy them for that particular price. So starting off with the drops, they're literally vitamin B3, and there are some amino acids. They're all natural, so that basically what they do is they help your body listen to insulin better. And when you listen to insulin better, that curbs those big insulin responses that you get when you eat food. So you get these big insulin spikes, and if your insulin goes too high, you're going to end up going into something called lipogenesis, which basically just means that you're going to produce fat. So we want to get away from that and help you burn fat, and you just do that by stabilizing those insulin surges, and the drops help you do that. But the cool part about that is they're going to naturally curb your appetite. So we do have people all the time saying, hey, I started the drops, and within a week of taking the drops, I didn't feel like eating. I didn't feel like having my second meal, which is cool. It's a good place to be, but remember, your body does need fuel. I also have noticed a lot of you not eating enough. You're still, for whatever reason, focused on that calorie model. We're trying to get away from that calorie model. And some of you get yourself into these loops where you're not eating enough, and that's why you're not dropping the weight that you want to. But that's another topic. So let's talk about this. What I want you to do right now is I want you to just take your finger, and I want you to put your finger right there, right between your eyes. Okay, the tip of your finger, about 1.5 inches behind where the tip of your finger is right now, there is something called your hypothalamus. It's a little stalk that hangs down in your brain. Excuse me, I said that wrong. It's your pituitary gland. Okay, your pituitary gland is a stalk that hangs down. Right above your pituitary gland is your area called your hypothalamus. And this is your pituitary gland. Now, what's cool about the hypothalamus and the pituitary gland is they work in concert with each other on these feedback loops that we see. And what I mean by that is we're going to use insulin as our example. Okay, as your blood sugar drops, your hypothalamus is going to, let's say increase. As your blood sugar, I don't want anybody giggling, okay, but I'm going to use BS as blood sugar, not what you think it is, naughty people. As your blood sugar increases, your hypothalamus is going to sense that, and it's going to send a message down to your pituitary saying, hey, we've got an increase in blood sugar going on here, guys. What we need right now is insulin. So your pancreas will start dumping more insulin. That insulin is a messenger to your cells, for your cells to open up and to allow that glucose to actually enter. Okay? And as your blood sugar then starts to drop, your hypothalamus senses that, and then says, hey, pituitary gland, we're getting close to getting the low blood sugar, so we're going to stop the insulin response. And if it gets too low, we get what's called the glucagon response, and then we'll start surging blood sugar again. Now, there are a class of supplements that are known as adaptogens. Adaptogen. I actually think I spelled that right. An adaptogen is a class of nutraceuticals that are going to work on these feedback loops to help your hypothalamus, your pituitary gland become more efficient. So if you look through the ingredients on the drops list, you're going to see a loop or a group of adaptogens that help this entire process do a better job, be more efficient. On top of that, those ingredients are going to help the insulin response at the cell. That's what makes you feel less hungry because we're getting smaller insulin surges. Okay, so that's 101 about how it works. Now, your brain also works on a principle called neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity is this cool principle in neurology that says if we fire a pathway over and over, we're going to make that pathway stronger. And that could be a good thing. It could be a bad thing. If it's a pain pathway, it's a bad thing because that pain pathway gets more and more efficient. If it's a good pathway that we want to fire, you can actually get the brain to do what you want it to do. Now, the concern is if we're taking all these adaptogens, if we're taking these drops, that we could build up a neuroplasticity to it. Now, does that happen in a set amount of time? No, it's different for everybody. Okay? But it does happen, but I've never heard it. I've never actually seen it happen in individuals. Okay? So typically what I'll do is if someone's been on the drops for, say, 4 months and they start to hit a plateau, I'll say, okay, let's do this. Let's take a break from the drops for a couple of weeks. Let your body settle out. Make sure you're still eating clean. And then go back on them. That way we don't build up too much plasticity in this pathway, so we're not firing it over and over again. It makes sense in my head. I hope it makes sense in yours. I'm not getting a lot of feedback from any of you, but that's how it works. Okay. Now I've never heard it. Like I said, I've never heard it. I think the date was like 42 days or something was the number that was thrown out there. I've never heard that before. I've never seen that before. But I have had cases where if you're into this thing and you're on month 4 of taking drops and you hit a plateau, let's try that. Okay? The other things that you can try when you hit those plateaus is the whole fast and feast principle, which really what we need to bring back is we need to be fasting for at least 24 hours once a month. That way our body doesn't get too used to food all the time. It helps develop metabolic flexibility. So doing a 24-hour fast and then having a feast right after that fast where you're eating as much of the good foods that you want to eat, it's a very, very good strategy. So I would highly, highly suggest you do that at least once a month, do a 24-hour fast. If you've been on the drops for about 4 months and you're starting to see results slow down, then try coming off of them for a couple weeks and then going back on. But that's the main thing I wanted to address today. I've been flopping my gums now for 7.5 minutes. There was nothing else that I had for you to cover. Again, I'll leave you a link. I'll leave that that sales page open for the Memorial Day sale. I'll leave that open for a couple more days, but I will link to it in this video in case you missed it. So, guys, I hope you know how much I appreciate you. We're going to keep doing these videos as things come up. We're going to talk about them. My job is to teach you this stuff so that you understand how to better take care of yourself. So this will be posted immediately, and I hope you share it with your friends, comment. And I mean, it's a lot of just common sense stuff that you need to know for basic human survival. So that's all I got for you today. I appreciate you. I'll see you same here again next week, and we'll see what the topic is as the week unfolds. So thanks a lot, everybody. Appreciate you, and we'll see you next time.